Yes, good morning, everyone. I hope you are able to view the screen as well as you are able to hear my voice. So before we go for the next topic, the configuration of buyer setup, we'll have a quick round of mock interview. Yes, Tejesh, can you tell me what is EOL? What is EOL stands for?
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir.
Please go ahead. What is EOL?
Sir, application object library, sir.
So what it does, what it contains, what are the
Application
responsibilities you can find in EOL?
we can find two responsibilities, sir.
Tell me that two responsibilities, whatever. What are
System
those two
responsibility.
responsibilities?
Yes, sir. System responsibility. Yes, sir.
Sorry,
Yes, sir.
what are those two responsibilities?
Application developer and system responsibility.
Application developer and system administrator responsibility, is it?
Yes, sir. System administrator.
Okay. So, yes, Bhargavi, what we can do by using EOL? What is the purpose of EOL? Why we required EOL? What we will do in EOL? Yes, Sudhakar.
Yes, sir.
So what we will do with the EOL? What is the purpose? Why we required EOL?
Uh, we develop and customize RISE components by using AOL.
So by using the EOL, we will be able to develop the RISE components as well as we'll be able to customize the RISE components, is it?
Yes.
So you have to give that much of explanation, right? So when we are applying as experienced consultant, they will expect the way of statement that you have to build, right?
Okay, sir.
Yes, Kushida, can you tell me what are the supplier tables? Kushida, what are the supplier tables? Yes, Anil, tell me what are supplier tables?
Good morning, sir.
What are supplier tables?
AP suppliers all, sir. One. AP suppliers sites all. AP suppliers contact. PH parties.
What is the supplier table? Which table you can find supplier information?
AP suppliers all, sir.
No, that is wrong. That is just AP suppliers. There is no underscore all for that table.
Okay, sir.
How many tables we discussed yesterday?
Yesterday, three, sir. AP suppliers and AP suppliers sites all. AP suppliers contacts, sir. Contacts.
So for three tables, if you are getting confused, underscore all is there or not, then what you will do next level?
Sorry, sir.
What are primary foreign keys for this?
Vendor ID, sir. Vendor ID underscore underscore ID, sir. Primary key. And for foreign key also vendor underscore sites underscore ID, sir. Second.
So when you are giving the explanation, we have to start within a proper way that when the question is, what are the primary keys for these tables? Then you have to explain for supplier table, AP underscore suppliers is the table name, where vendor ID underscore, we don't need to spell it. Vendor ID is the primary key. Then we have the supplier sites table, AP supplier sites all. In that, vendor site ID is the primary key. And then we have AP supplier contacts. In that, vendor contact ID is the primary key. So this sentence formation is required. Yesterday class I have explained, and class also recorded. I have shared the recorded through Google Drive. You got the permission for download. You got 24 hours for preparation of this 1 hour video. Not even 1 hour. I took around 50 minutes only. So in 1 hour, in one day, 50 minutes of class, you guys cannot prepare properly and give the answer in sentence format. We can't expect the job with this type of simple communication skills. You all are done the graduation in English only, right? English medium. Anybody has done in Telugu medium or in any other regional language? All your graduations you did in your English medium only, right? You written the exam in English only, right? It means you know the English. Without knowing English, how can you write the examination? You know the English, but you are not speaking. When you are not speaking, you are not eligible for IT industry. It's very clear. Note it down. 3 tables you are not able to prepare for one day, then how can we expect a job in IT industry? Then I have to call to your parents and inform what is your status right now in the training. Next time I will do like this only.
Okay.
Fine, guys. We discussed yesterday how to create a supplier. What are the supplier tables? What are the primary foreign keys we have to use when we are working with supplier table? Primary foreign keys. Vendor ID, vendor site ID, and vendor contact ID. So whenever we are working or when we are discussing in the interview point of view, sentence formation is very important. Don't tell the answers in a single word. Just like in our examination, bit mark, there will be a question paper with bit marks, right? So there will be a single word answer, 1 mark questions and answers. Don't be like that. Be in a proper way. When I ask you the question, tell me what are the supplier tables. We have 3 supplier tables. One is AP underscore supplier. It contains supplier information. Then AP supplier sites all. It contains supplier sites information. AP supplier contacts. It contains supplier contacts information. I told in a very simple English. Everybody can understand. Everybody knows it. Everybody knows and everybody can understand. Only thing is you are not preparing well for speaking. Maybe you might have created multiple suppliers. Maybe you have written select statement multiple times in the code, but you have not prepared for speaking. That you have to start right from today, so that in another 1 month you can see the result. Speaking skills will not come just sitting in the lab and do the practice. You yourself has to give the demos. As I told, once you prepare, you have to give the demos. Prepare one Zoom meeting ID and try to ask your colleagues to join, or if they join or not, doesn't matter. Let's give the demo. Today I'm going to talk about suppliers, how to create supplier, and what are the different tables we have in suppliers. Let's speak it. Everybody knows English, but they are not speaking. That we have to learn. Whoever is able to speaking in English clearly your subject, then your job is confirmed in IT industry. Otherwise, it is not at all confirmed. So I don't want to tell this lecture every day. I don't tell because it is not in the subject. I don't want to tell this. I'm using simple English. Everybody knows English, but you are not speaking means the fault is with you. Your parents have sent you to Hyderabad just for preparation and just for getting the job, not for doing any other things in Hyderabad. And you know that we have to learn this subject and we have to speak this subject, then only we have to get a job. Then still people are not learning, people are not speaking. Then what is the use of staying in Hyderabad? Now we are going for buyer setup, next one. So what is buyer setup? Why we required buyer? Buyer is nothing but an employee who will buy the goods from the suppliers. Who will buy the goods from the suppliers. Every company, there will be a different departments, right? Excuse me. There will be a departments. There will be a finance department. So what finance department people will do? They will be maintaining the accounts information. They will be maintaining the accounts information. So in finance department, who will be working? There will be a clerks. There will be a clerks and there will be a cashier, right? Like this, there will be a finance analyst. These people will be working. Then there will be a sales department, right? There will be a sales department. Who will be working in sales department? There will be a sales representatives and there might be sales managers. There might be sales specialists, like that. Okay. So there will be another HR department. There will be a recruiters. There will be a HR managers, like this. Same thing, every company will maintain purchasing department. What they do, they'll be purchasing the goods from the suppliers. They'll be communicating with the supplier, try to negotiate and cross-check which supplier is better in the market regarding the product quality, supply, delivery, support, and all this they will check and they'll go for purchase. We'll call them as buyers. Whoever is buying the goods from the suppliers, we'll call them as a buyers. There might be procurement managers. Okay, there will be a preparers who will prepare documents for buying the goods from the suppliers. So indirectly, buyer also is one of the company employees. Okay, so now what we are trying to do is we are going to configure one employee first, and we are going to make that employee as a buyer, and for that employee will create a user account. That's what we are going to do the setup. Let's connect to server. Now log into applications. Log into applications. You can also work with your login. December is our login, right? We required the responsibility to work with the buyer. We need first employee creation. For this employee, we'll create a user account and we'll make it as a buyer. We'll make this employee as a buyer. So let's go to system administrator. Where do we create employee? In HRMS, human resource specialist. Human resource specialist will create a buyer. Sorry, employee. Right now, we don't have the access to the responsibility called human resource specialist. Human resource specialist. Go to system administrator. Go to system administrator, security, user, define, search for your username. And once you search for this username here, and now go for add the responsibility. Which responsibility is required? HRMS. HRMS management. HRMS management. Save this. human resource management system. That is the responsibility used to maintain the employees' data, employee salaries data, this all. We don't require all, just we wanted to know how to create an employee. Go to HRMS management, HRMS manager, people, enter and maintain. Enter means create new employee and maintain means search existing employee. Open this, select new button. Here we are going to maintain the new employee here. And select gender, select action, employment, employee, select employee and save this record. You have not entered social security number for this employee. We call it as SSN number also. Social security number is a unique identification number in US. Like in India, we have Aadhaar card, right? Like that, we have social security number in US. So we are creating an employee here for US legislation, not a problem. So it's just a warning or note. It's not error. Don't worry about this. Press OK and save. Now we created an employee here successfully. We created employee successfully. What is the employee number? 2461 is the employee number. A lot of other information can be captured here. Employment details, office details, application when they are updated, background verification, rehiring process, medical information of an employee, and other benefits. So we can find all the details here to capture employee photo, address, employee assignment, special information, this all. But we don't require as technical consultant all the fields. Right now, we just need an employee that we have created. What is the employee name? Ranjit Kumar. Okay. And employee number is 2461. Let's see which table this employee details stored. Right select statement here. Retrieve the data from the table. What is the table name for employee? For all people F. For all people F. Where employee number equal to 2461. Where employee number equal to 2461. This is last name is Ranjit. Here we can find last name is Ranjit. We can find first name also. We'll find full name Ranjit Kumar. And what is the employee number? 2461. 2461. Some organizations wants to maintain the employee numbers alphanumeric. It means both character and number format. It's allowed. It's allowed. But in this table, what is the primary key? Person ID. Generally, primary key will be the starting column, which is named with underscore ID. Which is named with underscore ID. Person ID. Person underscore ID. So when we are discussing in the interview, we don't need to tell that underscore. We can say, for example, if they ask you what is the table name for employee, for all people F, that is the table name. We can say that 33850. That's the person ID. 33850. That is the person ID. 33850. Okay. Next. Every employee required a username and password to log into the applications, right? For example, you join in any company as an employee. Let's say you joined in TCS or you joined in Apollo Hospitals as a doctor. Okay. So obviously your employee number will be generated and they'll give you a username and password to log into the ERP products. Like this, every employee required a username and password to log into the applications. How to create a user account for an employee. We have already discussed about user creation in our previous class. Where do we do that? System administrator. System administrator, we can go to security, user. If your username is already exist, you can search. Otherwise, you can create, no problem. Right now, I'm mentioning the username as DEC, December. Search this username. Right side, person, customer, supplier. Person means employee. Ranjit. Press tab. If you press tab, it goes to the next field. Ranjit Kumar. Right. Save this record. Now, December is the user account we created for Ranjit Kumar. When December user log into the applications, indirectly Ranjit Kumar has logged into the application. So obviously, system will recognize that if this user has logged in, it recognizes, okay, Ranjit Kumar has connected to the applications. We know already this user account tables, which table users information will be stored. Help menu, record history, it will shows the table name, FND underscore user. That is the table name. Select star from FND underscore user, where username equal to DEC. That's the user ID, right? This is the username. For this user, we have assigned employee also. We have assigned employee name also. Here, I can find employee name here. In the table also, we can find the details. Where do we find? There will be a column, employee ID. This employee ID, person ID, both are same. Just now we have seen in our previous table, employee table, there was a person ID, right? There was a person ID. Now we can see that this employee ID and this person ID both are same. So while creating the user, what we have done, we have assigned our employee to the user. Front end, we have given employee name as Ranjit Kumar and we have saved the record. But internally in the database table, system has updated your employee ID, not the name, because of the performance issue. And also, next level, if you want to join, you cannot use the employee name for joinings, right? Only the primary keys will be referred. That's the reason front end will give the name, but internally takes the ID. Okay. Now this is the table name which is used to get our user details. Let's say the client is asking simple query here. What the client is asking, I want one query which will display the username and corresponding employee name. Only two columns I want. One is username, another one is employee name. Which table we will find username details, FND underscore user. Which table we can find employee name details for all people F. So we wanted to go for retrieve the data from multiple tables. When you want to retrieve the data from multiple tables, you have to use the joins in SQL. Okay. Joins means you must be clear with the join condition between the table. So what is the column from this table and what is the column from this table? So that we have to use. So person ID is the primary key, right? So first we will see how to get username. What is the table name to get the username? FND user, where I'm writing a few dot username equal to December. FND user dot username. Alias name I have given as FU and I got this here. Now we got the output here. Okay. So I got the username. What I need employee name. But in this table, I have employee ID. I don't have employee name. I have employee ID, but I want employee name. Where is that? This table is having employee name. So we have to join this table. You have employee details here. In this table itself, you have that employee details, but you don't have the name. You have the ID, but I want the name. So what I have to do? I need to join this here. For all people F. Okay, so now we have to write where clause fnd user dot, what is the column name here? Employee ID equal to for all people F dot person ID. Person ID is the primary. Okay, so that we have to go for specify here. Then select the data from second table for all people F dot. What is the column name? Full name. Full name is nothing but an employee name. You can go for alias name and enter this. Now December user, and you got employee name is Mr. Ranjit Kumar. Okay, so here we are joining two tables and get the information from the database. What is the join condition? Employee ID, person ID, both are same. It's just column name is different over here it is. Okay. So whenever we want to retrieve the data from multiple tables, we should be clear with the join condition. We should be clear with the join condition so that we can easily go for get the data from the multiple tables by writing the join condition here. So right now what we have done, we have retrieved the data from multiple tables, username and employee name. Okay. Next, when we talk about that, this employee wants to buy the material from the supplier. Okay, so you have to make your employee as a buyer. Right now, this employee is having user account. Now we are going to make this employee as a buyer. Ranjit Kumar, right now he is a buyer. He cannot buy the material from the supplier. He doesn't have the authority. If you want to buy the material, you must be a buyer. Let's go to purchasing vision operations. In purchasing only, we'll do the buyer and all procurement related activities here. Let's go to purchasing vision operations. Setup personal buyers. Setup personal buyers. This is the page where we will be configuring the buyer. Sometimes in the interviews, they'll ask you the navigation also. How to remember the navigation? When we do multiple times practice, you will find here also you can find the navigation. Setup personal and buyers. Open the page, buyers page. Now this is a web page. Web page means OAF, Oracle Applications Framework. Oracle Applications Framework, OAF page. Right now I want to add this employee as a buyer so that he can buy the goods from the suppliers. Go for add buyer. Go for add buyer here. Specify the buyer name. Ranjit. Press tab. It will search. Automatically get the data here. Now you can find category. You can also restrict that this employee can buy only this category information, means only this category items. You can restrict that so that this employee can buy the goods from the suppliers related for category. For example, in the companies, they will be providing the permission to the buyers saying that you can buy only electronical goods, or you can buy only information technology, IT related products. You can buy raw material only like that. They can restrict. You can also restrict the shipping location. It means, let's say your client is having 10 branches. You can restrict your employee saying that you are a buyer. You can buy the goods only for this particular location. Okay, not for other locations. Like that, you can restrict category wise and location wise. And we will also find begin date and end date. For example, today we made this Ranjit Kumar as a buyer. Now he is a buyer from today, 30th November 2023. After 6 months, we are going to transfer this employee from purchasing department to some other department. He is no more as a buyer. Then you can't delete this record because we want to maintain the history in the database, how long he worked as a buyer. So we don't want to delete that record. So for that, we can specify the last date. Instead of deleting the record, you can maintain end date. Nothing but you can disable the record. Okay. So that's the purpose of begin date and end date. Anyway, that's more in-depth is required for functional consultant. So as a technical consultant, we can just have an idea what is what when we are making it as a buyer. Let's save this record. When we click save button, system is showing the information here. Your changes has been saved successfully. It means Mr. Ranjit Kumar is a buyer right now. Okay. For example, if you want to go for, let's say I'm going to close this window. I'm going to close this window. And later, I wanted to search. When we open the buyer's page, I want to search whether my employee is a buyer or not. You can enter your buyer name, either fully or partially. Click go button. You'll find it. Mr. Ranjit Kumar is a buyer. This is how we can make employee as a buyer and how we can search the buyer details over here in the front end. So which responsibility will do these setups? Purchasing responsibility. In purchasing module, we'll do the buyer setup. Okay. And which table we can find this buyer details? We have seen employee table. Then we have seen users table. Now we are going for buyer table. So what is the table name for buyer? PO_ agents is the table name. PO_ agent. Agent is nothing but as a buyer. He's our company agent. You might have seen who is your company agent. People used to ask in the meetings, right? If multiple companies are conducting or meeting together, who is your company representative or agent? So in Oracle applications, agent is nothing but a buyer. And I wanted to know what is my record here. Agent ID is the primary key. Agent ID, employee ID, agent ID, employee ID, person ID, all are same. There is no difference at all. Just column names will be different. So wherever you find employee ID, agent ID, buyer ID, preparer ID, person ID, all are same. All are employee IDs. All are employee IDs. Okay. So that's about the buyer setup, how we have to do the buyer setup. Why we are doing buyer setup in procure to pay cycle? The reason is whenever we are discussing or whenever we are learning the procurement module, we will be using the suppliers from which supplier you are purchasing the material. We are going to use the buyer name. You should not get confused what is buyer, what is supplier, right? That's why now we are going to create an employee and we are going to discuss how to make this employee as a buyer. That's what we have done so far. So 3 tables we have come across. Every day we are going to get 3 to 4 tables down the line next 1 week. Okay. In Oracle applications technical, there will be a 40 to 45 tables maximum. This all 40 tables must be on your fingertips, including primary key and foreign keys. Then you can easily get success in the interviews. Okay. Yesterday we have learned 3 tables. Today we have learned 3 tables. Tomorrow also we are going to learn 3 tables. Like that, next 1 week, we are going to learn every day. So whatever we have learned yesterday, again, you should practice today. Most of the people, what they do mistake is, I created yesterday supplier, so my job is done. I don't need to practice again supplier today. No, that's not. Yesterday we have done supplier setup. Today we have done buyer setup. So yesterday you practice supplier setup. Today also you have to do supplier and buyer. Tomorrow we are going to start with item setup. Then tomorrow you have to practice supplier setup, buyer setup, and item setup also. Then day after tomorrow we'll go for requisitions. There again you have to create supplier, buyer, item, and requisition. That's how you have to build your practice. That will make you perfect. So most of the people, okay, today we learned the class as buyer setup. Let's do that, and done. My job is done. Let's go to home. That's not the correct. That's not the correct. That is for the people who are already working. They want to upgrade their skills. So for them, it is required. Now you are looking for a job. When you are looking for a job, you have to keep on practice. Going forward, the moment when the record is added, you have to start again this. Don't listen the videos multiple times. Listen the video once, practice multiple times, speak multiple times. Whatever you have done the practice and speak multiple times. Many people used to say, I listened the videos. What will happen? You have listened, right? In the interview, who will listen? Interviewer will listen. Who has to speak? Applicant has to speak, right? Everybody knows that when we go for interview, we have to speak and the interviewer will listen it. So you have to practice speaking, how you have to explain the answer. That I'm already explaining in the classroom. So let's be perfect. So whatever is done yesterday, let's do that practice also today, and do it today practice also. Tomorrow, do again supplier, buyer, item. Like that, you have to go for gradually get the previous one and today and go ahead with the continuation. That's how you are supposed to practice. Then every technology will be easy and you will become a master and you can get easily job. Okay. Thank you. Thank you guys. Let's do this setup and let's meet tomorrow. Every day in the class, first 10 minutes will be the mock interview. I can ask anybody. I can ask anybody questions. It's not only the previous day topic. It may be a previous day also. Tomorrow, definitely, I'll ask the questions about the yesterday class suppliers, today class buyers. Definitely, I'll ask both the classes tomorrow. Okay. Without having mock interview discussion, we cannot do the placement. We can do training. Everybody get trained. What is the use of that if you don't get a job? Think that if you don't get a job, all this training is going to be waste. You are going to get 0% benefit with the training. You are going to get 100% result with the placement. That you have to remember always in your mind. What is the use? No use, right? Without getting job, just have the training. What is the use of that? Once you join in the course, you have to see the end of that course and get the result. Right. Okay. Let's do practice. And any doubts are there, ping me in WhatsApp group. Even though if you have a small doubt also, ping me in WhatsApp group. You can send the screenshot in case if you are getting an error message. If you are not clear something, ping me in WhatsApp group. I'll explain. Even if it is simple question also, please ask me. Okay. Only in the mock interviews, I'll be very serious for discussion. But when it comes to the general class, we are going to have very friendly discussion, learning methods, learning things will follow it. But when it comes for the mock interview, yes, we are very professional and we are very result-oriented type of people. Serious is nothing but the that person is very result oriented person. If that person is looking for the result, not for just going on. Okay. He is looking for a result. We call them as a people who are trying seriously. Okay. Thank you. Let's see you tomorrow.